Hey guys, Jumper here. Welcome back to my video where I'm going to be breaking down the first episode of season 3. Um I'm excited for this. Yeah, I'm kind of gonna almost go frame by frame, make some comments, talk about some of my theories before episode 2 comes out this week. So yeah, let's get into it. I'm going to start breaking things down. So I guess I would probably go every like 10 seconds or so, if you guys don't mind. So the first scene we get is Subaru training in his a secret underground facility, quote unquote, that he calls it. Betty makes a comment about Petra making the towel cold, I guess. And then we get the audience is told basically there's a 1 year skip. So it's nice. Nice little bonding between Beatrice and Subaru. I really, really loved watching this. This was just cute. Nothing less, nothing more. It's just cute. That's all. No one needs to be reading into it much more than that. Petra shows up, showing that Emilia is asking for Subaru. We see Mimi again, which is pretty cool. I think we expected this when we saw her in the trailer. She makes a comment about how Julius is not here. And Subaru, because Subaru seemed a little unnerved, but that's just a Subaru moment when it comes to Julius. We get further in and we see that Rom makes a comment against Subaru. Yeah, I mean, come on, bro. Bro can't be the allegations. I'm joking. The reality is, I mean, like Subaru even said it the best. Like, there's nothing much more than this. It's like, don't read into it. It's just heartwarming. That's all it is. It's what ReZero does to make up for all the fucked up shit that happens. We all know this, right? The more the calm of the storm, the higher the fucking storm's about to fucking come. And I think that's what's about to be breathed in this season. So we'll see. Garfield shows up. Mentions that Otto and Emilia are kind of just apparently more of a comedy duo. So that's an interesting comment. I'm remembering a lot of these lines, so just keep in mind I'm going more like I think 10-second frame intervals. It's better, but I could go frame by frame. These frames are clean though, which is nice. Yeah, I do think that's funny. We get a nice little Subaru panicked. There it is. I love that. I fucking love that shit. That shit's funny. Anyway, Emilia makes a comment that Subaru is her knight. Subaru gets in fucking heaven for a moment, comes out of that trip, and actually introduces himself properly, which is nice to see. I liked this. This was nice. You have no idea how much I've been waiting for something like this with the progression in the story, and it's nice to see it. Because it's a big payoff. It really is. I mean, it's not as easy as people tend to think it would be for Subaru to get to this point where he's officially called Emilia's Knight, which is nice. Then we find out this is Julius's younger brother, Joshua. Not very surprising. Subaru makes a comment about about his hair and the looks it tries to hold back, and Otto's like, "Yeah, just stop, bro. You're forcing." It's funny though. And then Joshua makes a comment about about who is this? Who is her? Who is Betty? And then yeah, Subaru of course plays along just to fuck with him. Emilia's like, nah. I'm gonna no. I'm gonna. Yeah, it's just so cute to see this. Emilia looks kind of actually frustrated here. But yeah, Emilia actually does know where babies come from, and it's not via kissing. So, hey, Emilia not only got an upgrade, you know what I'm talking about. Everybody knows what I'm talking about. She, let's, yeah. I don't know. That's a different topic. I don't even want to go into right now. I think I'm not a gooner. Okay, I'm just saying that people make that whole conversation about Emilia's chest size being an it kind of peeves me a little bit. It's like, dude, just get over it. Just get over it and move on. It's a choice that they made as an art director. Like, it's fine. I'm okay with it. It doesn't bug me. It doesn't make me more happy. I'm fine with it either way. So, moving on. That was the decision they made. Yeah, seeing Emilia being frustrated with Subaru a little bit there was funny. I'm not really frustrated, probably not. Be the rest were more flustered, probably. Um, yeah, and then of course, Joshua goes on a trip with talking about Julius, Mimi, and Garf's first bonding moment because they talk a I don't even know how to pronounce that. I'm not even gonna try. I'm sorry. You know what I'm talking about. Yeah, Mimi's too cute. I'm sorry. And then we get Joshua. It starts talking about what the reason is, and the reason is because of the possibly having a actual catalyst for Puckagon, a actual odd. I guess they're called odds in ReZero. Someone can correct me if you're a light novel reader or if you just remember correctly. I'm pretty sure they're called odds. It does say magic crystal in the subtitles, but I think the real term is odd. So nice little frame of Mimi waving bye to Garf. Garf getting flustered about it, very funny. Emilia, of course, very upset about it because it's hard for her to decide what the right thing to do is because she doesn't want to be too selfish about it, but she still follows through with it, and I like it. And this scene, the lighting, I love it. I know the quality may not look amazing per se, but I do think that I really like it when ReZero does this a bit. It doesn't like look amazing, but it looks good. I don't know how to really describe it. People just talk about the loss of quality. I mean, not everybody has talked about it, but people will talk about the loss of quality. I'm trying to go back frames here, right here. But like, I mean, it makes sense. It's harder to draw things at a higher. I'm not great at art, but anyway, the further you are out from the character, you can even see it in some other shots in the show, and it's fine. Is that the lower the quality will get, but the pan shots with them being up close just look so fucking clean. I'm sorry, it just looks good. I'm a huge fan of it. I like it. The art in this season is some of the best. It is the best so far, in my opinion. I know it's different, but if they keep it like this going forward, I'd be pretty happy with that. Like, I get, or we might get new art directors and stuff like that, but it'd be nice if it kept it consistent. So I'm really happy with it. But yeah, here they're talking about Pristella. They're talking about the Watergate. Caleb's just sitting here rambling about shit. Talking about how it's not just like Venice, but it has different water gates that control the levels of water. And I have really like that. It's not just a fucking copy-paste Venice. It's literally its own thing, which is really nice. Subaru makes a comment about Puck getting back. They go talk to Roswaal. I do think it's interesting that Frederica snapped at Roswaal a little bit, like, and we got that little bit of that pan. I'm trying to understand why that was done. I really don't know. I'm gonna be honest. I feel like it's part of that oath thing we don't know about Frederica. I don't know. Maybe I might be reading into that too much. I don't know. I haven't seen her interactions with Roswaal till now, and I just thought that was an interesting reaction that she had towards him. But other than, of course, the very last episode of season 2, they interacted. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see. And then Roswaal, of course, gassing up Otto because Otto is good at negotiations. Makes sense. Betty and all of them are gonna go. We get this nice scene, really nice scene of Otto, Subaru, and Garf all talking. I really like it. Otto drinking is awesome. This here is what I wanted to talk about. Here's something I'll actually start talking about without just describing the scenes, because there is just a little bit of build-up here. There's some stuff I actually wanted to talk about. Like here when Subaru goes to see Rem. He knocks on the door, and then I'm pretty sure, I'm trying to go a couple frames here. Yeah, he knocks. He hesitated to knocks, waits for a response to see if Rem will be up. That should be awoken. And of course, he gets sad by that, the lack of response, which is really sad to see that. I'll be honest. It's really sad to see it. It literally broke my heart a little bit. I was like, damn, Subaru really cares for him. And a lot of people really just don't look into it as much, you know? But Subaru does really care for him, probably as much as equally as Emilia. It may be selfish, but he does. And it's sad. I mean, you even, if anybody remembers, I'll quote the exact episode, season 2, episode 13. Sounds to make you want to cry. Subaru breaks down to the point he just doesn't want to lose anybody. How he lost Rem, like that's how much Subaru cares about the people he cares for. Is he doesn't want anything to happen bad happen to him, just like Rem, and especially with how much he breaks down over the thought of the fact he lost Rem, and he wants to get her back. He's determined to get her back. So I'm interested to see how this goes, because it feels like this is going to sound a little wrong. With them doing this, there's got to be a purpose. And the fact, of course, everybody who's probably watching me do an analysis on the video has already seen the whole video, so obviously spoilers. If you're saying me to do an analysis, then you should obviously know I've already seen the whole thing. So multiple times, by the way, I've watched this episode. But since we know we've already seen 2 Sin Archbishops, we also see 2 other Archbishops in the trailer. Not really much of a spoiler there, but they'll obviously show up at some point. If someone hasn't seen the trailer, then I'm sorry. Then, well, rip then, I guess. I mean, you don't have... sorry. I'm sorry if you don't watch trailers and you try to keep away from spoilers. I mean, that trailer really isn't much spoilers, honestly. So it really didn't show much at all. But it was more like just setting an expectation. I thought the last trailer they did was really good. I'm pretty happy with it. Anyway, stop yapping for a second. With those Sin Archbishops showing up, we theoretically should be seeing Gluttony, which would make sense because... But the question is, does Anastasia know that, right? About the Gluttony is showing up. Or was that just coincidence? It's really weird. I'm interested to see if that's actually a thing, you know? We'll have to see. I don't know. I wouldn't think so, but I might be wrong. I think it was more like just, hey, it's been a while. Let's have a discussion. We want to figure out how we can get Gluttony and fucking kill him and get his memories back. You know, so Krush can get her memories back, and so can Rem. And yeah, well, of course, we'll talk more about that when we get to that scene. But I do think it's really sweet that Subaru sits here and he tells Rem about the day. It made me really think. I am very curious if Rem will remember any of that if she does, or when she does, because I feel like it's got to happen, right? I feel like Rem's going to get her memories back, right? Doesn't mean it's going to be a very pleasant experience making that happen, because ReZero likes to torture to make achievements, I guess you could say. Suffering. There will be suffering along the way, that's for sure. But Subaru perseveres. So let's say if Subaru does get Rem's memories back, my point is will she remember that? Because that'd be very cool. That'd be a very nice, wholesome touch. If she doesn't, then hey, not a big deal. Whatever. I mean, it's still wholesome regardless because Subaru did it. Yeah. I mean, it's not like Subaru's expecting something from Rem for doing it. He just cares that much for her, right? Then Otto starts talking to Emilia about the selection. We get a nice little, basically kind of a recap from season 1. Almost a little bit. We do get more of one later. We'll talk about that. The way they did it was nice. And yeah, then of course, Otto starts talking about the carriage and how it's just like the carriage. Emilia makes a comment, it sounds like Subaru, which is kind of funny. Subaru's like, I want to jump in. Wait, did we get a frame where he actually jumps in? Okay, it just stays right there. But he does get in a little closer, which makes sense. Yeah. And then Betty's like, oh no, I'm driving the carriage. It was a very cute moment. I love that. There's no other comments. The Emilia camp is still going to be my favorite personally. I mean, doesn't mean we won't get stuff from the other camps this season that I'm actually going to enjoy, right? I won't say that that's not the case, but yeah. I mean, that's, to be fair, that is the sustenance that we've gotten from characters, right? Doesn't mean my point of view can switch, but I really do like them through and through, because I mean, we've gotten all those characters just developments. Like a lot of them like didn't get true development till season 2, or were introduced until season 2, but the development from those characters was great. So especially Garfield, one of mine that I really liked, and especially Otto. I mean, and Betty. I mean, really all of them. And Emilia really changed in season 2 for the better as well. So, and Subaru, of course, has always just, I mean, he's had one steady thing that's stayed the same, right? Which Subaru's just Subaru, as in he does stupid things sometimes, but that's what makes him iconic, honestly. But he still does one thing over and over again, and he begins to, he has a level now where he cares so much about everybody around him, right? And he's also worked on getting stronger. So it's gonna be very interesting to see the progression of the camp and see how that is against the Witch's Cult now compared to a year ago. I'm gonna be interested in that. We also see a pat down. I want to make a comment on that. Light novel readers don't even talk to me. Don't even confirm what I'm about to say. But if the Amelia camp is getting patted down, which is like, I get it, they're from a different country. How the fuck? Excuse my language. How the actual fuck did Greed, Regulus specifically, and Sirius get in here, right? My assumption would be maybe some kind of disguise, maybe something we don't know about, maybe some secret way to get in. Maybe I shouldn't be reading into so much, but after watching it a couple times, it kind of bothered me. I was like, okay, if people have to be like almost like TSA at the airport bullshit right before they get into the city, then like, how did they get in here, right? Makes you think. I don't know. I'm not going to read much into it more or give some of my other theories because I feel like I don't know. I think there might be an actual reason behind it. But the one thing I really wanted to talk about with Priscilla is that I didn't really talk about it too much, or maybe I did talk about it a little bit when I first reacted to it, but now that I think about it more, the city apparently was created out as a trap, and that sounds insidious, according to Amelia, and it's like, that's kind of true. I kind of agree with that. No one knows what they were really trying to trap, but it was 400 years ago when this city was created by Hoshin. Oh, sorry, my dog. If that's the case, we always are having with this interesting theme in ReZero of 400 years ago. Like, almost like that was the beginning of this era of Lukunica. I know that sounds weird to put it that way, but like a lot of things began in the story of ReZero 400 years ago. Sure, we're not in that present time right now, but there's a lot of references to 400 years ago. Makes you think. First off, because obviously I'm discussing it, the Japanese architecture, I do think that the guy who was here 400 years ago was probably Isekai, because it makes sense because the guy built the Japanese architecture and all this stuff. But the fact it was a trap, it makes you think what kind of trap it was for. Was it a trap for the Witch of Envy? Really hard reach. Was it a trap for one of the witches? Was it a trap for one of the mobbies? Just some thoughts. I don't know. I mean, it did that. It's real. It's interesting. It's interesting that also Betty knew that. Betty knew that it was. See, the current people times didn't know that it originally was built a trap. That is, you got to think about it. That in the sense of 400 years pass in human knowledge, a lot of that knowledge, especially some of the finer details, dissipates, and more to a bare bones. This city was built by this guy named Hoshin. But 400 years ago, Betty was alive, so she knew about this. So she knew it was built as a trap. But does she really not know? I'm not saying she's lying, but she probably doesn't know. She probably has some assumptions, that's for sure. I don't know. Maybe I'm thinking too much into it. I'm really reading probably a lot into this too much, but anyway, we got a little frame of Subaru having his whip on his back, which is nice to see that. They're a little nice touch of detail. People talk about this frame like, oh my god, I get it, guys. She's a woman. I get it. She's a woman. Nice to see Julius and Subaru acting again. I from what I see of just a weird comment about Subaru here, because you can see my mouse with Subaru with this frame right here. It really makes me think, with this new art style direction, right? That I might be wrong because I've seen some sketches from the official artist from ReZero, that it's more true to Subaru's looks than some people have seen in the past, but I might be wrong. Yeah. Julius, I'm not really so sure about, but I know with Subaru's, yeah, I can kind of tell. But yeah. Julius looks still the same as in some areas, but in some areas he doesn't. He looks fine to me. I think I like the way he looks. I mean, I know I'm talking about art style right now, but I really liked the change that they went with this season. But anyway, we're talking about how the fact that Julius was going to look at. Oh, I just realized that Otto has like a fucking sweat mark on him when he realizes that Julius was not recognizing Otto, but recognizing Beatrice. But Julius recognizing him just makes sense to me because Julius is a Spirits Art user. Spirits Art's Knight specifically, just like how Subaru technically is now as well. So it's interesting that he approaches Betty and shows his respect. Mimi pulling Garf away, very cute. I really like that the introduction to this. Like they got really fast into Priscilla. I mean, look at the loading bar right here. We got here to Priscilla pretty quickly, like, which was nice. I mean, it felt very quick, but it didn't feel quick at the same time. It felt like it was going at a good pace. I was pretty happy with that. Anyways, so we get more into this. They're talking about karaoke styles, the Wafu architecture. I'm pretty sure. Oh, yep, he's talking about he was being probably summoned to the world. See, Subaru saying this makes me think, did he say it out loud? I doubt it, but it looks like he didn't, because it looks like he did because it's not italicized like the subtitles. Typically when Subaru would talk in the prior seasons in his head, if you would hear from him and hear his thoughts, it'd be italicized and not. There also has been some slip ups before in the other seasons, I think, so. It's fine. It's just a little inconsistency. I like it when they italicize to let you know, oh, they're thinking it, because we have a pan shot. We can't see his mouth moving, so I can't see if he's actually talking out loud in front of everybody, you know? Plus, I'm not even a novelist right now caught up to Arc 5, so I can't even confirm or deny, or I can't confirm if that actually was him saying it out loud. So, anyway. So we get to Joshua coming in, where they're starting to talk about the topic. They're talking about the songstress, Maniac, which is a guy from the Muse company, Kiritaka, I'm pretty sure his name is. Might pronounce that right. They're all on the boat. I really like it. Yeah, I kind of agree that he might be a weirdo. Also, the water tower that controls the water, I feel like that's going to have some kind of purpose in this arc. I know that sounds goofy, but hear me out, I think it really will have some purpose in this arc. Like, I think it's very possible that that Subaru might use it in a strategy for something. I might be wrong. I might be reading really hard into that. So I don't know. I feel like it's got some interesting tech behind it, and it could be used against the Sin Archbishop's witch calls, because we know the witch call is at this point attacking, right, the city. Now, we haven't seen much more in this first episode, other than the first attack, which was Wrath, but we're probably going to see more next episode and be fully solidified. So, yeah, Garf being scared of the water, kind of funny. Subaru about to throw up. Being reminded of the ferry ride he had when he was in Japan. That was funny to me that they had a nice third reference there. It's nice. Subaru moves on very quickly from it, takes Betty all the way to Liliana. Subaru makes a comment saying, what the hell? These lyrics are actually terrible. It made me laugh, but I was like, oh, damn, bro said it out loud. And then, like, what's nice is the anime is realistic. Everyone's like, what the fuck, dude? Why would you say that? Oh, that frame, dude. Yeah, everyone just beat the shit out of Subaru. Subaru's like, oh my god, I accept my impending death. But he's like, yeah, you did this to yourself. You did this to yourself, bud. Ask Amelia to heal you. That's pretty funny. And then, of course, she sings again, and Liliana, then Subaru joins in with her. Betty is just like me in this scene. Like, I'm just like, huh? I'm just confused. Like, what the fuck just happened? Subaru can rap? Like, what? Yeah, Subaru accepted it so naturally. Or no, it was her. Liliana accepted it so naturally. It was so funny, though. It was a nice little wholesome moment. They're both walking down there. And then, she tried doing another song before he went in. He makes a comment about her being weird. No one's weirded him out as much as Betelgeuse, which is funny. Bro says, it's an art, bro, you're, there's the frame. There's the frame. See, that bro, poor guy, like, well, let's see his face change. Yeah, he's like, yeah. Bro has objections, and I don't blame him. I don't fucking blame him, dude. But yeah, like, she hears that, oh, Sin Archbishop of, he's a Sin Archbishop. But she doesn't hear, or maybe she might have actually, yeah, heard who the specific Sin Archbishop was. Maybe that's something that's a little missing there. But because she heard Sin Archbishop, which is called, she's like, oh, this is that guy. I think it's interesting she put that together pretty quickly, but I do think the nickname's a little goofy. But yeah, here's the recap we were talking about, where they did a recap which is nice, the show, and the world knows that Subaru also got rid of the Great Rabbit as well, which people are like, wow, what the fuck? This guy is insane. But he's just a normal kid, and they're like probably like, what the hell? But yeah, to us in the world, people who find Subaru cringe, like, you got to realize in the world of Lugunica, everybody sees Subaru as somebody who's like just powerful, like, and can get things done, against other enemies, essentially, because it just looks that way, right? Like, I mean, they defeated the White Whale, defeated the Great Mob Beast, and the Sin Archbishop was killed. Like, that's not a small feat, especially we're considering in the past 400 years. The math might be wrong there. It feels like a buildup of 400 years of the witch's cult, possibly. I don't know. It's theorized, at least in my mind, that Emilia was around the time 400 years ago, technically speaking. I might be wrong, because Fortuna knew, not Fortuna, what's her face? I'm sorry. The Witch of Wrath. Her name's on the tip of my tongue right now. Minerva. Thank you, Minerva. I was thinking myself. Anyway, I was stupid. Minerva made a comment about the whole situation, and it made me think about. She made a comment to Emilia. It's in episode 23 of season 2. That made me think. Okay, wait. If Minerva knew Emilia's mother, unless if she is her mother, which that's another theory. That's a whole different theory. That either Minerva or Echidna is Emilia's mom, because we know Emilia's mom was human because we knew Emilia's father was an elf. That was confirmed in Emilia's backstory, as far as I know. Doesn't mean it's either of the two of them. It might not be, but it would be interesting if it was either of them. Anyway, point is, Minerva was alive when Satel was alive, which was 400 years ago when she devoured all the witches. So if that was being said, then Emilia's mother would have been around the same time as Emilia had her story, her backstory, and all that shit. So that means Emilia's backstory theoretically placed 400 years ago. And theoretically speaking, Betelgeuse didn't go insane until 400 years ago, which was around the time Emilia's backstory, all shit hit the fan. Betelgeuse goes insane because he killed Fortuna, right? Or because yes and no, his mind was tricked by, obviously, it was all of Pandora's fault, but still. Point is, that was the starting point for him to go into the witch's cult, right? I'm pretty sure. I'd be surprised if not. And if that was the point where he went to the witch's cult, then that was the spiral of his insanity after that, obviously. And then he ended up until today where he is. Now, because he's a spirit, he theoretically could live 400 years. But I don't know. We don't know if it's really 400 years. It could be 100 years because there's a lot of references to 100 years as well. Like, Emilia could have been only frozen for 100 years. Now, I might have them mistaken. Lots of different theories, not really true confirmations. But point is that if it's a culmination of the witch's cult of 400 years, with that proof being said, if that is true, culmination of witch's cult of 400 years, they've been revered for 400 years by all nations, which is insane to think about. So it is a larger feat than people think when this guy fucking kills two of the Great Mob Beast and a fucking Sin Archbishop. That's insane. Because, like, you have to understand, now there's only, like, what, 6 or 7 Sin Archbishops left? Yeah. I'm trying not to think about which one specifically. I might go back into that later. But since we know we had Sloth is dead because Sloth was Betelgeuse, Wrath is here now, Greed is here, Gluttony is here, and Lust is here. We know that. So that's 5. But we heard Pride seat was vacant. So then who am I? I'm trying to think of that last sin, the 7th one. But there's technically 9, because the Witch of Vanity is one of them. Vainglory, whatever you want to call it. Witch of Vanity is one, which is Pandora. And the other one was Hector Melancholy, which might, theoretically, he might be dead, theoretically. Or even if he had a witch factor, it might be on someone else. Also, Pandora, does she have a witch factor? Theoretically speaking, she probably does. I don't know if that is her witch factor. Her abilities and shit, which I would assume it is a witch factor. Just, like, to be honest, I'll be surprised if it's not. Also, like, pretty sure nobody knows this, and maybe there will be an explanation later in the story, and I hope there would be maybe by the time I start reading into the future arcs, even if it doesn't get done this season. But I'd like to know the reason behind or how witch factors are created. Because obviously, I feel like there's got to be a way they were created. Because it's just they can't just be there, right? How did they get created? Did they get created by Satella? That would be interesting. If Satella or one of the other witches or all the witches created witch factors, that would be interesting. Is that the witches created witch factors to pass on their abilities down to other people? That would kind of make sense too. I don't know, because how the witch factors work is if no one has the witch factor, you would store it in like a little box thing. We saw that in the backstory with Emilia when Betelgeuse consumed the sloth witch factor. Subaru got the witch factor from Betelgeuse because he killed him, and even it said, and even the anime, it's not content. Betty even noticed with Subaru and asked him why did he kill Betelgeuse if he didn't care about, he didn't know about the witch factor, because obviously if he killed him knowing about the witch factor, he knows he would get the witch factor. So that also being said, there's also the theory that Subaru's return by death ability is a portion or is the Witch of Envy witch factor, which is possible as well, which would be interesting, because then that means he has two witch factors. Also, if he killed Gluttony, does that mean he also gets Gluttony's witch factor? That's an interesting thought. If he killed Wrath, would he get Wrath's witch factor? Theoretically speaking. Is Subaru's goal, not, and it wouldn't really say his goal, is Subaru slowly going to get all the witch factors, right? What will happen if that did happen, right? Is there instability to consuming multiple witch factors? Because you got to remember, there's a price to pay, apparently, for consuming witch factor. I don't know what that price is or what that means, because I don't have really much details about that. Maybe when I read, I'm still reading the light novels, maybe when I read the light novels, I'll probably have more of a clear answer. But still, things to consider is the future of where this is going with the witch factors, because they're very interesting. Because they're magic, but they're not magic. Like, they're really not magic. They're not in the same category as magic, because magic uses mana, I'm pretty sure. And I think, I might be wrong when I say this, that people can use different magic as well as the witch factor. So, yeah. I had a prior theory that actually that they were two separate and you couldn't have them both. But after observing it a bit more, I think you can have both. Might be wrong. Someone correct me if I'm wrong about that. And Subaru tells her to stop calling them that. I know I just went on a fucking rant there. This is an analysis video, dude. What do you expect from me? I'm gonna yap about ReZero. I love ReZero. Anyway, Liliana going on and on and on. Subaru getting kind of disgusted by it. Liliana ensuring, hey, if I go in and talk to Kiritaka, we're gonna break these things out. And then first thing she says when she bursts in is, please make me a woman. And Subaru's holding her back. And it's like, bruh, this is not a good look here, dude. Like, bruh. I know he's not intentionally holding her in a weird, sussy way. He's just trying to hold her back from rushing in there. Which, good on him. He was trying to prevent them from not just interrupting. And then bro got mad, and then Subaru's mad, of course. Looks like you were wrestling her. God damn it, dude. It's still funny to me, though, that this whole thing happened. It was just a good little funny bit. Subaru apologizes to Emilia. Emilia says something very cute. Whatever will I do with you? I thought that was so cute. And then fucking Regulus shows the fuck up, dude. This shit got me. I mean, it didn't surprise me, but I was like, bruh. I think it's very interesting they don't show his face. But it's just like they did a bit also as well before they like showed his face the first couple times as well. I don't know. Yeah. And Emilia doesn't recognize him. One, it's been a year. Two, apparently this is a content thing I read a comment about in Reddit. It's not really much of a spoiler, but Regulus is supposed to look very plain and simple, and he doesn't. Really in the anime question mark. But that's how he's supposed to be conveyed. Is he very plain and simple? It's very hard. He looks like a very average Joe in most of the crowd. So like, it's hard for her to realize, oh, hey, this is the guy from my fucking past. That was a year ago when I confronted my past. Yeah, the guy kind of thing. Yeah. People expect everybody to remember every specific detail. Like, bro, these people have their own lives too. It gets a fictional story, but nobody's gonna remember every specific thing. I don't even remember every specific memory that I have in my life. And I'm admitting that out loud. And that's the show should be everybody else admitting the same, because that's just the truth. Anyway, This guy, Rachins, or Dumber. I'd rather call him Dumber. It's funnier. But I think it's interesting that Subaru recognizes him. It's very funny. Garfield gets a little kitty spine and sees Reinhardt and then goes, "Yo, man, hey, I'm gonna fucking punch you." Like, bro did not take long. That animation was clean, too. Like, you could see... Oh, the ripping of the clothes, too. Oh, nice. Like, the ripping of, like, the strap he has on his arm. I just realized that that's nice. Bro goes up and then punches, dude. He's just held up in the air. Yeah, Studio Trigger's helping with this. I can really tell. It looks really good. I don't know where that leak came from. I heard it from someone once. And I can't remember where, but yeah. But I don't know if that's actually true. But yeah, I really like the clean ass animation here. So how does he get the strap back though? Is there like an actual canon reason for that? Can someone tell me? And then bro like flings his arm. Yeah, bro flings his arm back into fucking normal form, which is pretty cool. But like, how does he get his like? Is that like? Maybe I'm reading too much because plot moment. But like, how does he get that back, dude? How does he get his clothes back? It's fine. Like, I get it. It's anime, but I'm just like, I want to know because now I can't talk. ReZero can be pretty realistic sometimes, and I'm wonder if there's an actual reason behind that. Like it's like a magic thing. Maybe I'm reading into it. I don't fucking know. Maybe it's a beast transformation thing. I really don't know. Also, apparently, this Reinhardt reaching out with his left hand is apparently disrespectful. I don't really know about that. I don't think that's what happened here. I think Garfield was still offended over the fact that how strong Reinhardt was and how nice he is for how strong he is. Like, I mean, yeah, Reinhardt is just really fucking nice for how strong he is. It's kind of weird sometimes. It's off-putting, I guess you could say. That's the best word. Anyway, everybody goes back inside. Garfield is still, kind of hurting a bit. Reinhardt and Wilhelm have their first interaction, which is nice to see. But, yeah, they really aren't talking to each other. And, of course, here's the reveal that the reason why Krusz came here is because they wanted to discuss gluttony. Discuss, by the way, but I don't know about that. Because I personally think that there might have been some arrangements to make that happen, but I might be fucking reading too much into it. But I would hope not. That would be really fucked up if they just arranged for Gluttony to show up here, so then they could plan to duke it out. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, Subaru of course gets pissed, but it's he kind of he holds himself back a bit, which is good. People give him whatever points he wants, but he has every right to be pissed about this situation. But yeah, she is thinking about a merchant, like a merchant, so yeah. Yeah, I think it's funny. Subaru says, "Don't provoke me." But I do think that the scene went about as good as it could have gone. She moves on and says it was Krusz's hope too, because Krusz really does want to get her memories back too. She wants to settle the score with Gluttony too, but she knows that Subaru wants to save Rem too. So yeah, it was a very nice scene. I liked it. It went from being a little on the on a needle kind of thing, but it went down real quick after they talked for a second. Subaru gets a back massage. Garfield goes, "Hey, can I step aside? I'm not the strongest." Subaru goes, he'll be over tomorrow, which, I mean, that's fine, but I don't know about that, bro. Mainly because of the next scene later on. Betty shows up. Subaru's in fucking heaven. Subaru fucking has the puff of... Can I get this? Can I get this? Oh, yeah. Look at that. Look at that smoke. Bro gets the horny smoke. Okay, I'm done. Amelia comes up and is like, "Subaru, are you okay?" And it's like, oh boy, yeah, he is in love. My love of fever, baby. And then Betty's like, "Come on, bro." Oh yeah, that conversation. Yeah, it's funny. Reinhardt then tells Felt, "Hey, yeah." Then Felt says it's refreshing to see how roughly she treats Reinhardt, which is interesting. Because that is true. And then also Krusz and Felix, Krusz and Felix That then Felix saying this fucking, oh dude, that shit was funny as fuck. I was like, oh my god, what? Why is Felix so tall here? I don't remember Felix being this tall. Does bro have like taller shoes on? Yeah, what was Felix joking? I don't think so, but anyway. We get this, which I really liked this scene. I never expected it. I knew bro was tripping and seeing shit, but like it's interesting to see Garfield attacking his demons like this. The animation looks so good too, with like the red tint and everything. Because like the way they did it, like it definitely shows that he's like fucking just tripping and he's seeing shit. And then after, like right after this, when she says you killed me, he turns really fast and then everything's back to normal. Like, bro, sometimes that's how trauma be like. Like if someone's ever been through trauma, it can be like that. Like people don't realize that this guy's going through shit right now. And then Mimi shows up and Mimi cheers him up and says says he looks a lot cooler when he's laughing like a dummy, and Garf's like, wait a minute, what do you mean I'm like a dummy? And then she just goes, oh, okay, and just runs away. It's so funny. She may be short, but apparently Mimi is also like the same age as Garf, so they're both just still teenagers, you know. It's very interesting that they're coping off of each other. Is really nice. That both of them going, yeah, we're gonna be the strongest. Garf then goes and saves the kids. Very nice scene. Bro says, I am gorgeous tiger, and it's like, oh, okay, damn it. Food references again. Subaru, of course, going to town because he knows the food's good. Betty being like, oh my god, this wasabi is stinging my nose. Betty sounds very hilarious though. And then Garf then sees his mother. I love this scene. No, I don't. It makes me sad. Bro was tripping, dude. He was. I feel bad for Garfield here, dude. Because if that's actually his mom, I'd be like, bruh. But like weird reading into it. Maybe it really isn't his mom. Some people, when they saw the trailer, they didn't think it was his mom. It looks a lot like his mom, but I want to see something here. I want to see, because yeah, it may look like her, but here's what I want to see. I want to go back here and look at something and see if I'm reading into this too much. Someone can tell me if I am reading into it too much. I can't see it right there, this frame. Look at the crystal on her neck. Is that the same one that his mom had? Because it looks like it's smaller. I don't know. Maybe I'm reading into it too much. I do think that this is his mom. I don't think there's anything else really to it, you know? But who knows? Subaru talking to Wilhelm here. I'm sorry, guys. I did not sleep well tonight. So if you've made it this far, thank you for listening to me yap. But yeah, Subaru talking to Wilhelm here, and I don't know. I really liked this scene. I couldn't really make comments when I was reacting because I was just really into the scene. Yeah, it was just such a great scene to see Wilhelm and him talking, and Wilhelm just talking about how his name is spread, and obviously it's a little obvious because of Liliana knowing who Subaru is, and Subaru's a little disbelieved by that. But he says, I'm convinced that there's something that you cannot do alone. You were able to see it through by gathering others who cannot do things alone, which is really what Subaru has proved to do. And Subaru always has beaten himself down, but Wilhelm's like, yeah, even so, I like you. Which is nice to know. I mean, like, just because you may feel like you're useless doesn't mean that you're disliked by others. Like, that's the message there that people don't really get, is like, people have to think that like Subaru is just a fucking, he should be a powerhouse of some kind. No, like this is a different kind of story. The story of ReZero is about a story of not giving up, and it's definitely accomplished with Subaru's character, like the vibe of the story, but being not giving up. Like if Subaru was not the protagonist, it would not be the same story. No offense, like Subaru as a protagonist makes that theme stronger of not giving up, right? And people talk about the levels of fucked up that ReZero can go to, and the levels of suffering that people call it suffering, which is true. Don't get me wrong, it is suffering, but people have to realize that in my mind, I've called that a new terminology. Not giving up levels. I would say that at a point, hit the first latter half of season 2, the not giving up levels for me for Subaru felt like a 7 or 8. I am scared if that level of not giving up goes higher this season, and I feel like it's going to. I call it the not giving up level, as in suffering. Sounds a little fucked up because I mean it is suffering. It is. Trust me. Like I said, I'm not discrediting it, but we're talking about the theme of the story here, and for me, I view it like that way. That it's leaning harder into that because that is part of the theme of the story, right? And in that also ties to some of the other larger themes. But the main large theme of ReZero is as a story about not giving up. And it achieves that very well. I think everybody realizes that too. And not just the regards of Subaru dying and trying to fix things over and over, but in other areas as well, like Garfield's past, and same with like Emilia's past. Same with Wilhelm talking about here not giving up and considering and really trying to approach Reinhardt. Those themes are very much stronger than people think it is. It's just right there. It's nice to see it. But yeah, apparently he pushed away Reinhardt, and yeah. Subaru gave him a little bit of courage. We get a little bit of radio calisthenics. That's nice. Otto's about to fucking vomit. Felt them argue for a bit. It's kind of cute. They all go inside and they're about to make some stuff. Subaru asks Joshua to please deliver that letter. He's yeah, it's about gluttony. I wonder what that letter's about. And he's like, why do I have to do favors for you? But Joshua realizes, yeah, I probably should. At least it looks that way, like his face lightens. They'll start making some okonomiyaki. Fuck, I might pronounce that wrong. I give up. I do think it looks funny that Betty made one with too much sauce, and Emilia said leaving it half cooked will make people sick. It's so funny. Oh man, Otto freaks out about that. That was so funny. And of course, Reinhardt going to town here. And dude, is this a great? Is this no, fucking not great. Is this a divine protection this guy has? Like, does he have a divine protection of fucking cooking perfectly? That'd be so stupid if it was something like that. I mean, it'd be funny. Don't get me wrong, but I'm just like, is it a divine protection that he has? Like, what? That'd be so funny. Anyway, yeah. Wilhelm messing up here, kind of also pretty funny. Not gonna lie. Subaru saying that, also funny. We get the speakers. We learn about the song and shit, which was nice to hear that. I wonder if the song was intentional. It's like Subaru's smiling here, then he hears the Sword Demons Love Song Act 2, and then he goes that, and he doesn't say anything else, and the song just goes. I wonder if a little bit of cut content there, if Subaru did talk a little bit about his achievements, the White Whale and all that, to Liliana, and then the next day, and this is yesterday's date, like the yesterday's in the time of the story, right? Like the day before to where they're at right now, Subaru was interacting with Liliana, but I'm maybe reaching into that a little too much. Who knows? Maybe she just knows about it because of the stories of the White Whale. That could also be it too. And because of that song, Wilhelm says Reinhardt. He's getting his attention, and he sees if he wants to help him, and Reinhardt does it, and Wilhelm's like, wow, damn, it really was that easy. And people may think that this wasn't a nice moment, and may think that like he wasn't really trying here, like Wilhelm wasn't. I disagree with that. Like, you got to realize that everybody in the ways of emotions and love and everything else, they're different, right? And like Wilhelm even said it himself, he was never articulate, and because he's not an articulate person, it kind of shows here. It shows here he's not articulate. He wants to reach out to his grandson. It's very wholesome. I really much like it. I don't know. It's a little goofy, because my grandpa does not have white hair, but I have a very big, strong connection to my grandpa because my father is a piece of shit. Anyway, that was a shout out to him because that's a different story for later. You might see a video on that. Anyway, I'm not gonna go into details right now. Anyway, yeah, my grandpa was very much a big role in my life. So seeing this really made me a little warm-hearted. But seeing this guy come in, I'm just like, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. This doesn't surprise me, at all. Weezer likes to throw a little bit of stuff like that. Subaru gets mad at Heinkel. I don't really like the guy either, not gonna lie. But it's might be just because he's drinking. Either way, he's still an asshole, whether he's drinking or not. Just an asshole. That's all. Even that if he gets mad, if Wilhelm says someone's name twice and has that face, there's got to be goddamn good fucking reason for it. What did Heinkel do to get Wilhelm that upset, right? And he's talking about the white whale and all that, and then this is the comment that really fucks with me. He avenged the previous Master Swordman after you killed her. Is that just Heinkel coping and saying and pushing the blame of the white whale killing Teresia, because Reinhardt wasn't there, he didn't grow fast enough or strong enough? I may be reaching and reading into that way too much. But like, I doubt Reinhardt actually truly killed his grandma, right? I think he's just blamed for it because he wasn't strong at the time, and because it was his duty to do so, to protect his grandmother, compared to Wilhelm, because Wilhelm stepped away because Wilhelm had to protect the royal family, right? We get that little more context later on. But that's what I think about in this situation, is that after I got all those details, I'm thinking that could be the only really real reason why he words it that way. It just sounds weird. Like, it doesn't make sense. I doubt he actually really killed his grandma. And then apparently he goes even further and he just strays it. You of all people are in no position to criticize me. He says you were the first one to rebuke Reinhardt for killing the previous Master Swordsman after all, which was Teresia. And then of course he's silent, and it's like, I know Reinhardt rebuked him, but like, Reinhardt didn't actually kill his grandma. I doubt it, but maybe he did. And then he says Teresia Van Estrella won't let you have it that easy. And then he adds Heinkel Van Estrella, and then he says, don't add the Von. I have never received that title. It makes me think, okay, because he's the head of the Estrella family, does he not receive that title because of that? I mean, that sounds like a weird thing to say. I don't think that's really the reason per se. But anyway, I think it's that he has his duty. Like, Heinkel's duty is to watch over the Estrella family, theoretically. Maybe I might be wrong. And because of that, he doesn't have a duty to protect his mom. And yeah. And therefore, he pushes that responsibility onto his grandson, which, if that's the case, that's fucked up. And then that's also fucked up if his grandfather, Wilhelm, also did that, because that's a really huge drama thing. I don't know. I mean, I'm really reading to this, but Emilia also, says this, which really surprised me. How do you feel about me? Isn't what we're talking about right now. Just really nice to her to say that. Am I getting frames? Okay. Yeah, Subaru is pissed there, but then he immediately lightens up when Emilia starts talking, because she just puts him in his place. Priscilla shows up, and starts talking. Subaru is not remembered by her. Subaru gets pissed and says to hell with that, because the reason why Priscilla did that. So it doesn't matter how many times I suffered. Now, this is a mistranslation that pisses me off. At least I saw this and heard about it online when I was watching some other people react. That this was the reason why I learned this mistranslation, that's going to sound weird. I saw somebody reacting to this scene, and I saw different subtitles. Then I went on Reddit and looked at some ReZero posts and finally found something where someone said in the comments that there has been some mistranslations, and the fans subtitled ones are better than the Crunchyroll ones. Not fucking surprising, Crunchyroll. Fucking get good. You fucking suck at what you do. Like, this sends a completely different message than what the actual message was supposed to be sent. Like, yes, this is something that Subaru has said before, right? But in the context of the situation, no, that doesn't make sense. Like, what Subaru actually said is that it doesn't care how many times you trample on other people's feelings. He was reflecting onto Reinhardt and Wilhelm and everybody else, like their feelings in the Estrella family. and like you can't just fuck with that. But it makes it look like he's the one suffering. Like, no, Subaru wouldn't be the one suffering here. He's not that selfish. He didn't say that. It makes him look bad. It's fucked up. It's like, how could you have fucked up the fucking subtitles in that? You're making Subaru look bad. Like, Jesus Christ. Like, it just sent it, because it wouldn't make sense for him to say that. I was a little off put by when he said that, or when I read those subtitles. I was like, it kind of doesn't really make sense. I'll look into it later. Maybe I'm weirded out. I'm not mad at, obviously, Subaru's character for that, because Subaru didn't say that. I'm mad at Crunchyroll. End of story, you know? But yeah, like, people already shit on Subaru's character enough. Like, this gives them another reason to do that, and that pisses me off. It's like, because Crunchyroll fucked up. And because people have been mostly watching the Crunchyroll subtitle. If anyone knows, by the way, speaking on that topic, if someone's got to this far, please let me know if there's a place where I can watch the fucking fan subtitled. If there's specific websites, or just gotta tell me a name, please tell me in the comments. Please, I fucking beg you. I want to find the fan subtitled ones so bad, and I probably would rather watch from those, personally. The question is, I probably will have to wait longer for them to come out, but either way, whatever. Anyway, that would probably be better anyway, because way less Caleb ranting and mad about Crunchyroll mistranslations, because it's probably gonna still happen again. Anyway, I won't forgive Crunchyroll unless they go back and they fix their mistake. Gonna be honest, because that was the one of the ones that they really fucked up. And they had other mistranslations as well, so there's that as well. Betty holds his hand though, so it kind of makes the situation diffuse a little bit more. They talk about it more. Reinhardt needs to stand there more happy. Fucking Priscilla's about to kill fucking Heinkel, but he gets pulled away by Schutz, I think that's his name. It's one of the guys over there, new guy. Maybe. Schult, Sean. Schult, I guess you could say. Anyway, yeah, this whole scene was interesting. The interaction here between Subaru and Julius is also very interesting, because Subaru basically tells him, hey, I shouldn't be getting pissed on your behalf, which I would agree with that. But I do think that it's really nice now that people can reside in Subaru, in the sense that when some shit is happening that would make anyone else just as mad, Subaru is the vessel for that. And because of that, Subaru is like, bro, whatever you're doing, you're fucking messing with this moment. Who are you? Like, Subaru has every right to say that, because someone just fucking interrupted the whole fucking situation, right? Anyway. And, yeah, I think it's interesting that he immediately talks to Julius and says, hey, why are you covering your armor with heart, though? But, you know, but Subaru brings it back up. Like, he says, remember what I said? You don't have to always obsess over being the perfect courteous knight all the time. Like, Subaru brings that back up, which is nice. He doesn't let it get dropped. He reminds Julius. I would like to see a Julius that gets unhinged sometimes. Like, that's just realistic. That's an actual, I like that, right? But I like Julius for who he is, too. But seeing him unwind like that would be nice as well. And then Subaru is kind of in denial and just stubborn, which is kind of funny. We get Priscilla and Liliana, which is a really nice situation here, because seeing Priscilla not snap fucking Liliana's neck for declining her as a personal bar for her reasoning was really nice. Subaru's like, what the fuck, dude? He's so confused. He's just surprised, and so is Emilia. Yeah. If the entire world is my guarded, it doesn't matter. Which is an interesting saying that Priscilla has. If the entire world is her garden, then that doesn't matter where, you know, that thing is, that her bird is, where that's singing, you know. Anyway, this is the restart point that Subaru ends up going to, which we'll talk about that in a minute. But yeah, Subaru goes, oh yeah, I gotta go get some snacks, and then, oh, it's you, dumber. I really liked this moment. It was so funny. And then of course we get the introduction pretty quickly of Sirius. And here's something interesting content I want to talk about in a second that I learned, and I want to talk about it because I really think it would not have been hard for them to do. Obviously, it doesn't sell the whole scene watching it for the first time as like a trance thing, because people were really confused, and that's the whole point. At least that's the point the director was trying to do. Yeah, it's a joke. It's not funny at all. Subaru here, apparently, before she claps her hands, was actually using his link between his contract to Beatrice to reach out to her to help him. Apparently, that's cut content. That's really cool. I don't know why they didn't showcase that, but if that's another thing in one of the other loops, I hope they at least show that it is a thing, and then maybe people could just imply that he would have done that then as well, Because as soon as she claps his hands, Subaru snaps, and it's too late. He's starting to get under the trance. Now, I wouldn't say it's exactly too late, because here's where my theory starts to really come in on how Sirius's ability works. This is the cap for Caleb today on this whole breakdown. Is I genuinely think that Sirius's ability is a build-up. It takes a lot of work, and it has a lot of requirements in order to make the AoE attack that happened for the first Return by Death this season happen. It will only happen for some specific checkboxes, like some requirements, like I said, that were made. One of them being that it took everybody 30 seconds for all of you to fall silent, right? And then when she clapped her hands, everybody's listening and everybody's being quiet. So everybody's just listening to her, and then she's saying she's happy. So I feel like that's an inflicted emotion she's trying to inflict on everybody. But she's pointing at Subaru, which is interesting, and this one girl and the two guys over there, and saying, "Why are you angry?" And then it really clicked after a couple watches. I'm realizing now, she's saying this because she needs those people to not be angry and to be happy, to fulfill the requirement to make the AoE attack work, right? That sounds insane, but that's the truth. Like, it's a build-up. This is why this is such a long scene here, is because she's basically getting all of them to get on the same emotional level. Once they have reached that requirement, the chains that are wrapped around Luzbel and hits the concrete, that's why the AoE attack works. Now, if everybody wasn't on the same, feeling the same, it wouldn't work. So obviously we get in here. Nobody still doesn't look like it. Subaru asks a question, which I wonder as well increases the linkage between the emotions between Sirius and everybody in the crowd, right? If somebody asks a question, does that do that, right? A matter of love. They're talking about happiness and all that too. It just seems like it's basically a good time, and then you're like, something's really fucked up here because Luzbel's here. Also, something that she says that I really want to point out that she does is, that's why I say thank you and I'm sorry together, is because we can forgive each other and kneel to each other. That's why she says thank you and I'm sorry together, which is interesting. That's how they did the writing for Wrath. I think we're going to get more context as well. Also, people also have the theory, of course, because of the elf ears and the hair color as well, and the purple eyes, that this is Fortuna, which is an interesting theory, or some kind of relative to Betelgeuse because of her last name. I don't know. I wonder if that will be revealed. Well, I guess we'll see. She then uses her chains to roll in fucking Luzbel, which is really fucked up. But yeah, he gets pulled up here, and you think, okay, wait a minute. He's crying. This is something interesting. Yeah, he's really tightly wrapped up in the He's really tightly wrapped up, and he pissed his pants in these chains. This kid's probably scared to shit. I don't blame him. You can see here that everybody's just laughing, really fucked up when you think about it. And everybody was, I'm pretty sure people who were watching this were really confused. Subaru even says, "Don't cry, Luzbel, you're the best." I think he says that. Yeah. I can't even imagine how Subaru feels. After he returns by that, because he realized he did not want to feel that way, but he felt that way. Like, he was forced to feel that emotion, which is really fucked up. You think about it. Like, they were forced to feel happy about this situation, and Subaru lived again to remember that experience, which is really fucked up. Anyway, she's crying, but so is Luzbel. Luzbel's crying here. This is the interesting thing. This is where we get the drop to bag from Subaru, and that's where people probably start to go, something's wrong, right? But I thought Subaru was going to realize that something's wrong, but that's not what happened when we first saw this. I was like, oh my god, he's being controlled. Also, here's the thing. He's crying too. He's crying just like Luzbel, not just like Sirius, or maybe it could be connected to Sirius. Could be. That'd make it more interesting. But I think it could be connected to Luzbel's crying. Might be wrong. She starts going on about the saying. Everybody starts to feel the same. Everybody says their hearts are one. And then she drops Luzbel, and then his teeth crashes against the concrete. So then Subaru's teeth is getting knocked out, and then everybody's heads explodes. Luzbel, everybody dies the same way that Luzbel does. And of course, What's interesting is people don't realize when the return by death thing happens, it shows you what Subaru remembers every time. Like, it really does. It shows this whole scene, it rewinds the whole thing, and shows everything. Like, snippets of it, basically, right? Subaru remembers. There's no way he doesn't. Subaru remembers this. And it was 10 minutes ago, which is even crazier to think. Subaru has never had this much small of a time gap ever in his time loops. This is going to be an insane season because Subaru is on a time restriction. Also, the feelings that he feels after he returned by death, I'm pretty sure. Think of it just like when it's really fucked up to say it this way, but it's kind of the truth. He died when he died to the Great Rabbit, and got by eating alive, which is a really fucked up death. When he felt the rabbit still gnawing on him when he returned by death again. When he came back, he still felt that fucking pain of being gnawed on, which is why he was going insane and started pounding his head into the fucking concrete. Don't even fucking blame the guy. Like, bro was going insane, right? His mental state is going insane. Here, though, when he returns by death, he remembers the feeling of feeling happy that a kid fucking was dropped and fucking had his skull crash against concrete. That's fucked up to think that he feels that way. He felt that way about it. Like, he's going to, of course, feel sick. Like, that's why Subaru is like, oh my god, dude, you feel sick again. I know it's the thing he says, but I feel like that's why. And then, of course, ReZero fashion, we get the rolling credits. Alrighty, guys, that was it today. Thank you guys for coming back to the video. I broke things down in a kind of a weird way. I kind of really just started from the beginning because I just felt like it. I just felt like yapping about ReZero. I love it. This episode was so good. There's my uncut talk about the video. If you guys have any other theories or want to talk to me about it in the comments, don't be afraid to drop them. Make sure if you're a light novel reader not to spoil anything, though. Keep it down low. Don't say anything. If you want to mention some cut content in the comments, I wouldn't mind. Make sure it doesn't really reveal future stuff, though. Like, if it's tied to something, then I wouldn't talk about it. But we'll have to see. Anyway, guys, you guys have a good rest of your day. I'll see you guys on possibly Wednesday or Thursday. I should be able to get it up faster now that I have a template. And because it's a 30-minute episode, it's be easier to upload. So you should see it also Wednesday, theoretically. I'll have upload of my reaction, hopefully Wednesday night, me and my friends' reactions. I also have separate audio tracks of that so you guys can hear them better, and so on. And hopefully I'm not as loud now in this video. So do let me know, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye!